Tom, tell us a little bit about the technology community here in Atlanta and what you see as some of the strong points in this community.
I think, there has been a lot of criticism of the Atlanta technology community, not enough money, not enough entrepreneurs, not enough leaders. It's easy to criticize. I think we have an extraordinary opportunity here. I am more optimistic today than I've ever been, and that's why I stay engaged with the Atlanta technology community. I think we have a number of things going for us that really make us a destination city for not only technology businesses, but technology startups, new venture creation, etc. First of all, we have extraordinary universities. Georgia Tech, obviously my own alma mater, but Emory University, Georgia State, Kennesaw, even the university in Athens, is producing students that are with engineering degrees that are going to be the future of our industry. We have great leaders: Michael Adams at University of Georgia, Bud Peterson at Georgia Tech, Mike Wagner and Emory. I mean, these guys are top-notch leaders, and they're really leading education institutions, and that's the seed of all this. Secondly, I think we've got enough success stories here to have a building ecosystem of companies, people like myself, Chris Klaus, Dave Gould, Trip Rackley, people who are going in and re-engaging in the community with investments and advice and other things. We have a terrific association in Technology Association of Georgia. I think we have leading law firms now. There's no reason to go to Silicon Valley or Boston for a legal firm. Firms like Morris, Manning, and Martin with established intellectual property practices, with legal practices associated with early companies. We've got technology accelerators and incubators like ATDC. And on top of all that, I think we have a business environment that's conducive to startups and doing business. I mean, who in their right mind would want to start a company in California or Massachusetts today? These states are broken. They're over-regulated. Their tax structures are not conducive to business. They're yesterday's news. I think states and locations like Atlanta can be today and tomorrow's news.
Let me ask you, one of the issues that's been raised in the past relates to venture capital and the fact that we have some excellent venture capitalists here in Atlanta and the Southeast, but there's a lot of money coming in from elsewhere, and frankly, we don't have as much capital here as some other regions. How do technology companies attract capital, and how do we encourage more venture capitalists to come to our community?
It's a really good question, John. I think, as you know, I'm a founding partner of Tech Operators. I'm not just the CEO of Joulex. Together with Saeed Mohammadian, Glenn McGonigal, and Dave Gould, we're investing locally. I think the important question is how much money is being invested locally, much more so than how much money is local. So the fact that Boston and Silicon Valley and Texas-based and New York-based and Chicago-based companies are investing in Atlanta is really the important question to me. And I see capital flows moving into this asset class in this city like never before. You look at the investments that companies like Suniva have made. Joulex just raised $17 million from both local sources here in Atlanta, but also from a German investor, from Boston and California investors. The important question is money being invested here? And I think if we continue to ask ourselves the question, why don't we have more venture capitalists in Atlanta, we're really asking a question that's not nearly as relevant: is there money flowing in? And so what I see, I like. I like the fact that money is flowing from those venture firms into Atlanta. Would it be good if there was more money in Atlanta? Absolutely it would. But I don't see successful companies. I have invested in 27 early stage companies. I am on the board of 8 of them. I've had successful exits from about 6 of them. I've just funded a few that are complete startup, and these people are finding money.
Tom, big challenges for technology and our technology community in Georgia. What would you say are some of those biggest challenges that we have ahead of us?
Well, I think, the first challenge with any technology business is talent, is people. Contrary to the 10.6% unemployment figure I hear about the city of Atlanta, the technology community is red hot. Most people have got 2 or 3 offers when they go to work. So I think our ability to continue to educate homegrown talent and attract other talent to this city and to our state is critically important, because our assets are people. With the exception of a few technology industries, most of the asset base is people. Most of the operating expense is people. So I think that's number one. Number two, and again, I should say I applaud Emory and Georgia Tech and Georgia State and Kennesaw and University of Georgia and all that they're doing to produce graduates that are capable of operating in a 21st century knowledge industry, because we're the manufacturers of the next generation. The second is, I think it's critically important that we nourish and embellish our accelerators and the work that we're doing with GRA, with the Georgia Research Alliance, with the ATDC. All of these programs are critical. I look back 25 years ago when I first started my first company in Boston, or maybe I go back 35 years or 40 years when John Imlay and Bill and the gang were starting MSA. If they wanted to write software for a mainframe, they had to buy a mainframe. Today, I just buy it from the cloud, right over the internet, on a monthly fee. So I think ensuring that these accelerators remain in place and that the community hangs together is important. Capital is always important, but I don't see good ideas going unfunded in this town. I see good ideas attracting enormous amounts of capital. We just closed a round of financing for a company that I was a founding investor for 12 months ago. I can't say the name because it's not announced yet, but they raised about $20 million on a $50 million valuation 1 year later. It's a good idea. It's a good management team.
Where do you see that we're going to have most of our technology growth? What areas, and what's sort of over the horizon?
Yep. Well, one of the areas that I see is energy, John. I see Atlanta as a growing center of energy technology, of green technology, of alternate fuels. The research that's going on at Georgia Tech, the incorporations and the operations of businesses like Joulex, Seneva, and numerous other companies that are focused on this $7 trillion a year industry. Energy is the largest industry in the world. And, at Joulex, we're pioneering again. So I see energy as a terrific theme. GE Energy is headquartered here in Atlanta. Southern Company is headquartered here in Atlanta. It's the largest producer of energy in the world, run by a good Georgia Tech man. I think we have an opportunity to build an energy cluster here that, again, changes the world. Mobility, is obviously a powerful theme in computing today, or in solutions. And we have a tremendous amount of mobility applications here, wireless providers and other activities that I think could allow Atlanta to become a cluster of mobility. I think the cloud is a whole new emerging trend, although I think most people accept it. But listen, a lot of people want to move their data centers to Atlanta because our power is the cheapest in the United States. We have an educated workforce, and we have a regulatory environment that's friendly to businesses. And so I think Atlanta has an opportunity to be a center of cloud computing and cluster, and all three of those businesses, energy, mobility, and cloud computing, are enormous multi-billion-dollar industries.
Tom, I really appreciate your insights there, as always, right on the money, and we will look forward to your predictions of positive, good growth for our technology to come true. So thank you for everything you've done for the community, and thanks for being part of this video series.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to be here.